Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another video by Gaming with Kirby. I'm Kirby, your host. Today we are playing the newly released game on Steam called Hollywood Animal. I believe it's an early access game. If you're not familiar with it, the game itself takes place in the 1920s, era, and we're going to be in the film industry, trying to become basically Hollywood for the most part. We're going to be making films. We're going to have missions that come up, things that get on our way. Yeah, all that. So if you're familiar with this is the Police 2 and Rebel Cops, this is the same creators that created those games. They created this one. So like I said, let's get into this, guys. We're going to be starting a new game. We'll see what we get into. I'm actually excited for this game to come out. It's a strategy game. I've actually been waiting for this for several months. I played the demo several months ago. The demo was very fun. All right. New Year 1929. The hedonism of the 20s gives way to the Great Depression. Great Depression. The advent of the talkies heralds the golden age of Hollywood, and life gives way to cinema. Got some snakes, some rats, a rabbit. Film companies fiercely compete for market and influence. The strong devour the weak. So we're going to have to be strong in here, otherwise we will be devoured, unfortunately. Can't be weak. Alright, you purchased a bankrupt studio to build a new business on its ruins. Alright. Here we go, I'm excited. Alright, we're gonna pick our Rhino. Heck yeah. Alright. Well, you know what? Let's just go with that. Nah, you know what? Actually, what would be good? You know what? Plymouth Studio. That's what we're going to be called. And the Rhino will be our trademark. Alright. Movies are not only made by actors and directors. Your film studio also employs people who quietly keep the machine running behind the scenes. What are their names? Financial executive, Johnny Payne. Hey, I'm actually fine with that. Public relations executive, Ann Rose. So 42, 44, and age 33. Legal executive, Fred Lawson. You know what? I like those names. I will stick with them. Alright. Along with the studio grounds, you received the footage from an unfinished film. Filming was completed, but it was never edited. You'll need to complete the picture. What is this movie? Okay. Alright. So, we got Limpin' Luke, Blind Love, Messenger of Death. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I like Messenger of Death, the sound of it. But let's take a look. So this is a Wild West movie. 50% action, 50% adventure. Okay. Modern American town. That's where it's going to be filmed at. With 70% romance and 30% comedy. Or filmed in a modern American city. Detective 60%, thriller 40%. So we kind of want I'm kind of going with this because, we just, there's a lot of Wild West, I'm sure, being filmed at this point. Let's go in here with the thriller. 60%, I'm guessing the detective is like investigation, We're investigating for 60% of the film, and then 40% of the film is the thriller, on the edge of your seat. Oh, what's going to happen? So, me personally, this is what I'd go with. So, we're going to go with this. All right, continue. Messenger of Death. All right. We got events, prison break. One gloomy morning, 7 Quantum bounty prisoners stunned the guards, snuck into a warehouse, and escaped the prison hidden in a truck. Most of the fugitives were serving for theft and assault, but one of them was a true menace. Okay. I like the theme. Let's see. Alright, that just tells us what is someone trying to escape from prison or trying to. Okay. I like it. Let's see if the text or any other details of the screen are too small. Click. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Alright. Prison break. An antagonist, a serial killer. That prisoner's name is Nick Crow, but the papers all called him the Courier. He brought flowers to a young woman and killed them. Oh, 2 young women and killed them. After 5 murders, the police captured the Courier on a lucky break, but they were never able to determine his motives. The maniac's first victim was his own fiancée, but the choice of the rest of the girls seemed random. The very next day after the escape, the Courier had already returned to his old ways. Dressed like a messenger, he delivered flowers to young Rita Peterson, then stabbed her to death. Bill Zeman, Rita's fiancé, returned home from work that evening to find his beloved dead upon the floor, as his own desperate screams echoed through the neighborhood. All right. Well, our antagonist, Nick Crow, is going to be played by Edward Peterson, who is going to be, is one of our actors. All right. This is kind of showing what we got going on with creating the movie. So we have the protagonist, which is the detective in this case. Bill had little faith in the local police, so he hired a private investigator, Harry Burroughs. Harry was a young man, but he had sharp wits and a keen mind, enough to solve dozens of difficult cases, and even earn him the reputation of a genius. Rita and I had just got engaged, Bill Zeman offered helplessly as Harry examined the crime scene. The police had already taken away the body, but the bouquet of roses still remained on the living room floor. Compliments of the Courier. Alright, so our detective Bill is going to be played by Doe Juval, who is another one of our actors. We're going to have some supporting characters in this. We got a sidekick. Alright. Harry looked around the house, and he talked to the neighbors, but he couldn't catch a lead. He decided to contact Kathy Watts, a journalist who covered the Courier murders in detail. Kathy came right away, carrying a hefty file. She got right to the point. After the previous murders, I talked to the Crow's friends and learned about a cheap old shack he'd acquired long ago. It's past the city limits, heading north. I told the police about the place when they arrested Crow 2 years ago, but they just brushed me off. Figured the case was already closed. Alright, so Kathy Watts is going to be played by Bessie Patterson, another one of our actors. So we can have, obviously, different, these are the characters for the theme of our movie. We can throw sidekicks in and whatnot. You'll see later on the different characters that we can throw in there. So we'll continue. Yep, we got the sidekick. We got the search for the killer. Harry and Kathy hit the road, and soon enough they found the right house. It was a broken down hut, obviously unsustainable to live in. But our hero, but our heroes then saw a man in front of the house locking the door. As Harry's car approached, the stranger took off running towards the woods. Harry drew his gun and leapt from the car, but the man was already gone. We scared him off. Let's have a look inside. With that, Harry kicked the door down. The shack was practically empty. A carved wooden box drew Harry and Kathy's attention. Inside were 6 diamond rings, trophies. All right. I like it. This is obviously the theme of searching for a killer. So search for a killer somehow figures into the plot. Obviously, we got to search for the killer. All right. Rita Peterson was recently engaged, and the courier was engaged to his first victim. What about the rest of the girls? Harry asked. Kathy flipped through the documents in the folder. Interesting! All the victims were soon to be getting married. Harry and Kathy trawled recent newspapers looking for engagement announcements. 2 couples surfaced, Rita and Bill, a tragedy among already familiar to us, and also certain Sandy Wick and her fiancé Tom. Harry and Kathy visited Sandy, who was happy to speak of yesterday's strange visitor. Yes, some messenger came with a bouquet of roses. No card, no note, just a bouquet. I decided it must be some kind of a mistake. I didn't take the flowers. Messenger just apologized and left. Okay, we know who the next victim is. Harry immediately had a plan. He and Kathy hired a photographer and posed as an engaged couple. They made sure to capture Harry's rented yellow brick house, the only one in the area. They advertised their engagement in the newspaper's morning edition and paid extra $10 to have the photo printed beside the article. At noon the next day, there was a knock on the door. Kathy opened it, and there stood Nick Crow, the courier, smiling nervously in the doorway with a bouquet of roses. This is from a secret admirer. Kathy feigned delight, took the bouquet, and ran to put it in a vase, leaving the door wide open. The courier stepped into the house, pulled out his knife, raised it, and then felt a pistol at his temple. Harry's pistol. Oh, look at that. Gotta love it when a plan successfully works. The killer's caught. Then the finale of the movie. Antagonist gets punished. Evil receives its just reward. The courier grew wild. You don't understand. 2 years ago, I was supposed to marry my dear Rachel, and suddenly she started receiving anonymous bouquets. I became jealous, but she just laughed and accepted all the flowers, no matter how many or how secret they might be. 1 week later, and I caught her in some jerk's car. All these animals are the same. First they say it's only flowers, and then they break your heart. They deserve to be punished. And obviously there he is 2 years ago watching his fiancée kissing some other man with the roses. Well, the courier won't be delivering any more flowers. This time he was sentenced to the electric chair. Harry added another win to his list of cases, and Kathy wrote a book about the courier. She called it Messenger of Death. Well, see, people, this right here is why you don't commit murder. But anyways, this is going to be our movie. Alright, this is our ratings. This shows the movie's commercial appeal. The higher it is, the more easy a film will succeed with the general audience. Okay? This shows the movie's artistic appeal. The higher it is, the more recognition it can expect from the sophisticated audience. A 7.8 and a 7.9 and a 7.8, I'd say that's pretty good. A film's commercial and artistic appeal may change after each stage of development. The film, Messenger of Death, received these ratings after work on the script was completed. The screenwriter, Marcy Fox, loves to write detective stories. Thanks to his experience and talent, the investigation turned to be suspenseful and intriguing. The story's elements came together to form a coherent whole. Okay, this is our Marcy Fox, and he happens to be great at detective stories. So this is what we got. I'm going to hit continue and see what happens. All right. After pre-production, the film's ratings rose even higher. Casting famous actors is the surest way to boost commercial and artistic appeal, but other factors also influence the ratings, including quality scenery and modern equipment. Makes sense. So we boosted up higher, so that's actually good. And obviously, bad guy's dead, and these two are on their way to a happy lifestyle. So happiness, we got loyalty. He's not very loyal to me for some reason. But whatever. Oh, he's dead. Alright. After the production phase, the film's commercial appeal declined. The lead actor became seriously ill. He couldn't fight and looked too thin. Oh, this is why it's dropping. Okay, that makes sense. However, the film's artistic appeal grew. Joe Duvall tried to make up for his lack of physique with the subtlety of his acting. Production problems were reflective in the lengthened schedule. Unfortunately, the actor passed away after finishing work on the film. That's why he died, unfortunately. Man, and that's too bad. So that's what our final ratings are. 7.5 and 9. Alright, we got the producer, the director, cinematographer. Alright. Oh, hit continue. This is how much money the studio spent on the picture. This isn't the final budget, as work on the film is not yet complete. So $431,000. This is how the creators of Messenger of Death imagine their potential audience. When you start shooting your own pictures, you'll identify your own audiences. Messenger of Death is a subtle psychological thriller with a dark atmosphere and engaging dialogue. The film's audience are adult men and women, people who enjoy a serious tone and intricate plot. Here we go. Finally, get to see our studio. Alright. Time to send the footage to post-production to complete the film. I like that idea. Assign employees to handle editing and scoring. At present, the studio's personnel are not the most qualified, but over time, their skills will grow. Okay, so let's add an editor. Alright, we have Emma Berry, 39 years old, and Oliver Grant, 42 years old. So Emma's she's a 3.6, but Oliver's a 2.7. Emma's not really loyal to us, but Oliver is. What was this? Happiness. Okay. Emma's very happy, whereas Oliver is not. Alcoholic. Ooh. Okay. Okay. He's an alcoholic, so for me personally, I'm going to put Emma. I'm going to add Emma to this. Just because I don't want an alcoholic, because it said aggression and whatnot. We don't want issues happening with the alcoholism being in the way. And she's also very happy with her job, and the loyalty, I'm guessing, will eventually grow, and so will her the stars. So, all right, we'll look at this. What is this? Racist. Despises people with the wrong skin tone, nose shape, or eye shape. Why would I want to? I don't want to. Okay. Lewis Murphy, 43 years old. He does have a 3.3 star rating. He is not really loyal to us and not really happy. Versus Lee Woods, 37 years old. He is loyal to us, more loyal to us, and pretty happy. But his star rating is a 2.8. But that's not everything. You know, not everything in life, you know, is about the star rating. So I'm going to choose him, and eventually it will get better. Let's see. We also just need to decide who will develop the film or record the music and sound effects. Outside contractors are always ready to help with this. Alright, let's add some film development. Alrighty, and obviously the price and the duration. So Novak Limited, quality is low. The duration is 36 days, and they only cost basically $9,000. Whereas a web sign company, their quality is medium. The duration is only 28 days, which is a lot less than 36, but they also are twice as expensive. Well, just almost twice as expensive. A lot more expensive at $15,000. But, you know, at the end of the day, you have to spend money to make money. You know, the better quality will bring in more money, is what I think. Alright, let's take a look at this. C&B Orchestra, quality is low, 22 days, $5,715. Okay. But we can go with Hollywood Central Hall, where the quality is medium. The duration is 36 days, so it is longer. And it's, whoa, definitely double. Yet again, got to spend money to make money. Same thing with this. Sound Magicians versus Venus Sound. Quality's low, 19 days, $4,004. Versus medium, 29 days, and basically $9,000. So I'm going to go with these guys. I definitely am doing this because we only got $36,000 in the bank. Well, got to spend money and make money, unfortunately. 37 days. Oof, we're going to be really pushing this one.